you can't build a shop, build a shed instead. You're watching Days of Pain and Victory. I'm Josh, and here's another weekly episode of DPV Bench Racing. We make a lot of different excuses on why we don't start our projects, and one of them might be, I don't have a shop. And sometimes building shop can be, way out of the question. It can, minimum it's like $7,000. You can go way up from there. $7,000 won't even get you power. So, if you're on a budget, but you do have some money to spend, you could build a shed. That's what I did. I do pretty much all of my work in this 12 by 16 shed. Let me give you a tour. First, I got a nice big old 4-foot wide door. I can get all my stuff out. Starting in this corner, I know it looks messy, but I know where everything's at. Got my chain binders for tying stuff on the trailer. It's my table saw. It's not normally up here. Since I'm doing so much work on the house, it's up here for now because it's a lot easier than pulling it up from the basement all the time. So got her up here. This toolbox is not normally in here. This goes in the Jeep. But then got my press here. Found this frame and it's like, that looks like I could build a press out of it. Got this jack from Harbor Freight. These are actually Chevy Impala hood springs, but it worked good. And got my different pieces of metal here for pressing. Works great. Got my cord reel. High-tech HVAC here. This little heater is actually pretty awesome. 30,000 BTU. Got it off Amazon. Cozy World. This thing heats this place up even in the coldest months in about 20 minutes. So I'll start a pot of coffee in the morning, come out here, fire it up, and then go back inside, drink a cup of coffee, and by the time I'm done with my first cup of coffee, it's warm in here. I do have it insulated. Every time I do a construction job and there's a sheet of OSB left over, I put it on the ceiling. So you can see I kind of stopped. Yeah, I need to finish that. It'll look better. Back to the HVAC. So, wall heater, but all this heat rises right to the ceiling. So I mounted this box fan at an angle, and it just pushes the heat down. Moving right along. Again, looks messy, but I know what it all is. So I've got different power tools down there, chop saw, drill bits, and some drills. This is all my different saw blades for my miter saw, table saw, that kind of stuff. Got my stereo. Thinking about ditching the stereo. Now they have those little Bluetooth speakers, and they put out a ton of good quality sound and take up way less space than this. I could definitely use the space for tools. And up here I've got extra clothing for when it gets cold, my rags and my detailing stuff. So I know it looks like a complete disaster, but I know where all is. And I've got my toolboxes here. This is mostly metric, this is standard, and then I don't need to go through all that, but all the drawers are full. Got my fluids in here, different lubricants and cleaners. Need to build some extra shelves in there so I can split it up, but I got this cabinet for free somewhere. Gotta post your good memories. Don't have any of the Big Chief up there. Got my old ZJ. Kind of miss that guy sometimes. Moving right along. This toolbox, again, I know it looks messy, but I know where everything is in there. This is my remodel box. Actually, use this big old ramp. It's got 3/8 thick angle iron on the sides. That ramp goes onto the back of my truck right here, and I use a come along and roll this bad boy right into the back of my truck. So when I do side jobs, I've got all my carpenter tools. Jack, Air compressors down in the corner there. I know this looks like a complete pigsty, but this back here is where all my spare parts are. So parts, future projects on the Jeep, future projects on the Impala, all my parts are kind of stored there, and I know it's like Jeep, Impala, I know where stuff's at. Then we've got my little drill press here. Picked this guy up for $5 at a yard sale, and it does okay for $5. Free bench grinder, it works pretty good. Got my MP203 for the front part of my doubler on the Big Chief, and then 14 foot of bench there. So if you guys are wanting a quick way to build a bench, these are solid core doors, commercial grade, so they're 1 3/4 inch thick. But man, I've beat the heck out of that thing, and it's held up. I mean, it's not a metal bench by any means, but the doors are free and it's solid. Yeah, so a good way to build a bench is find some of these solid core doors. Sometimes they get cut wrong. You can pick them up for cheap or free. And then I just held it up with 2x4s. So got my vise here on the end. Built a little shelf there for my short metal, and all my jacks and jack stands are down here. Don't know when this project's gonna happen, but we've got a GM Turbo 400 and an AMC Turbo 400. I need the output shaft from the GMC Turbo 400 put into the AMC Turbo 400 so I can hook up my 203, 205 doubler. I'm using this file cabinet for different oil and whatnot. I got it wired up with 220 for my welder. These welders are pretty awesome. This one's an old one. I got it from my wife's grandpa, but they still make them. And you can pick them up for about $300, and you can weld just about anything with it. Your only big limitation is welding thinner stuff. So welding sheet metal, it gets pretty tricky, pretty much a pain in the butt to weld sheet metal with it, but you can do it. Then I got my torch there, and this shelf's got my sandpaper, gloves, battery charger, a few other things. And then up here, got my pull-up bar. Because you gotta stay strong, you know. So I chose to frame this thing 12 by 16. In most places, 200 square feet is about the maximum you can build without a building permit. And I didn't want to go 10 by 20 because I thought it'd be a little too narrow. I like how much floor space I've got as far as the width here. And 12 by 16 works well with your sheet material, because your sheet material is going to be 4 by 8. So framing it 12 by 16 works good on your material list. So there it is. If you can't build a shop, build a shed instead. It gets you out of the weather. You can do a lot of fabrication. You can build motors. You can rebuild transfer cases. You can do a ton of stuff inside a 200 square foot shed and stay out of the weather. Yes, you're going to be working in the driveway. Some of your stuff can be done in the warmth of your shed. Plus, it gives you good lockable storage for all your stuff. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe.